What's going on? This is Markie Williams. Welcome to my channel regarding online certification courses. Allow me to break down these courses and what they consist of. This is a channel you can learn a new skill set or brush up on an old one. Continuous education and improvement should always be a priority if you want to stay current in your field of work and plus get paid your worth. So let's get started. First off, it's a global phenomenon that has taken place for quite a few years now and is still growing and becoming more mainstream. The alternative workforce is a term for people who work outside of their traditional employment models, including freelancers, contractors, and gig workers. The benefits of the alternative workforce is the better work-life balance, flexibility, and access to skills. Of course, many companies are still trying to get their employees back full-time in the building, but are settling with them when it comes to hybrid work. Alternative workers prefer flexibility work schedules, increased work-life balance when it comes to their employment. Majority of the workforce that in favor of the alternative workforce isn't trying to go hide in a corner or be under the radar. These workers rather be left alone to do what they're hired to do without the company politics or shenanigans that goes on in these companies, such as the silos and micromanaging. New services emerge in support of the alternative work. Gig work sites and talent networks have also grown rapidly. Representative list of popular freelance websites serving tens of millions of creative, technical, and other professionals from around the world. So what is the best practice when it comes to the future of work? Always resort back to the smart company and what they do. By the way, smart companies are companies that know how to stay ahead when it comes to changing course or directions to avoid pitfall. Constant upskilling and reskilling their employees to be current in their field of work. In this scenario, a smart company would start to educate themselves about the alternative workforce and what it consists of and see how it would fit into their structure of business. Smart companies will realize that the onboarding process may be a little different when integrating the independent worker, the development leader to adapt the management style to the needs of the independent workers. The 4 practices necessary for integrating independent workers: start fostering and cross-functional collaboration between permanent and independent workers. Encourage information sharing among permanent and independent workers. Keep in mind, independent workers will need access to information in order to get their tasks completed. Facilitate the onboarding and integrating process of newly hired independent workers. And always keep a big picture view of his entire workforce. So what does the last statement mean? Some organizations don't really know how many contractors they have or not sure how much of the work is outsourced. Because of this, independent workers are not usually accounted for as part of the organizational budgeting, planning, and forecast activities. These types of workers are being looked at like contracts, not necessarily people, so they don't appear on the workforce balance sheet at all. There's also differences in recruiting permanent employees versus independent workers, and allow me to touch on some of them. When it comes to the talent pool, permanent employees, most organizations recognize 2 categories when recruiting entry-level and experienced workers. When it comes to the talent pool, the independent workers come from many talent pools in many categories, each of which may require organizations to rethink their marketing and outreach practices. When it comes to new way of working, the permanent employee is role-based, organizationally focused, traditional work arrangements. When it comes to the new way of working independent workers, they're project-based, team-focused, flexible work arrangements. Companies need to start creating an open mindset when it comes to alternative work. Sure, this type of workforce does have some snags in it when it comes to inclusion or lack of interpersonal communication, where remote employees may have less trust in each other's work and capabilities. But the alternative workforce is a cost save across the board when it comes to their monk mode mindset of getting things done. Yes, they do cost a pretty penny, but what they do in a short amount of time they do it in, your company is still winning. It may take 2 permanent employees a longer time to get the job done compared to a gig worker or a contract worker that has the talent for it. Have you ever heard of billable time? Well, that's for another tutorial. Many thanks for taking some time to check my tutorial out. All the links, if any, will be in the description below. Also have a website up and running, which is also Markie Williams Online Certification Courses. Please subscribe so you don't miss on any training certification courses you may want to pick up. Comment below "done" and I will reply back. You can check me out on Facebook under Markie Williams, and they'll also have an online certification page where you can like and follow as well. Please make sure you check out these thumbnails as well floating around right here. Always remember to get paid your worth. Many thanks. It's Markie Williams, and I'm out.